Megan here from Adult Services at Crystal Lake Public Library. I am going to share with you today one of my family's favorite recipes. It's for homemade bread. It's a yeast bread and I think it's very simple and beginner friendly. So just a few simple ingredients. I'm going to need a large mixing bowl, all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour. I use rolled oats, and I like to add sunflower seeds, but you could do extra rolled oats or whole wheat flour if you don't care for sunflower seeds. And then you're going to need some dry active yeast. I buy mine in bulk because I make this bread once a week for my family. But if you have just the packets that it comes in, you're going to just measure 1 teaspoon out of that packet. And then I just have salt, and we'll need warm water. So for this recipe, it's 3 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm just going to add that to my big mixing bowl. There's my 3 cups. I do a half a cup of sunflower seeds, and this is a half cup measure. So you're gonna mix all the dry ingredients first, including the yeast and the salt. So let's see, 3 cups of all-purpose flour and a half a cup of sunflower seeds. I do a cup of oats. And a cup of whole wheat flour, which is a little hard to find right now since COVID started. So if you can't find that, you can just use all-purpose flour. We do a cup of that. And then warm water. So I'm really used to making this recipe a lot. And I measure the temperature of the water just by feeling it. But if you have a little thermometer, that's very handy. We don't want the water too hot or it will kill the yeast. So before we add in the water, we'll take a teaspoon of yeast, pop that right in the bowl, and then I've pre-measured my salt, that this is 3 teaspoons of salt. Any kind of salt you have, I have the pink salt, whatever you have, 3 teaspoons goes right in. And then we'll give that a stir to mix the dry ingredients before the water goes in. So I make this once a week for my family, and this recipe actually makes 2 loaves, 2 standard size loaves. And I like to make it in the loaf pan because then we can use it for sandwiches. So then with the water, we're going to measure out 2 cups. And I have pre-warmed my kettle. Let me give this a feel. I think it's good, but we will use the measure. And you want it around 110. So if you've heated up your teapot too much, you can just add tap water or cooled water, whatever you have. So we'll set that in, and it is 105. Perfect. So we'll add my 2 cups, and I like to have a wooden spoon. I'll feel that again before I toss it in. So then you add your 2 cups and give it a stir. So this bread is really nice because it's a no-knead bread. So it doesn't take a ton of time. You don't need a stand mixer. You just need to give it a stir so all the ingredients are incorporated and all the flour is wet. So that's a little dry still, so I'm going to add just another half a cup of water. And I'll write all of this out, and it will be available for you. So give that a stir. Make sure the water is really incorporated through those ingredients. then I take my spatula, get the dough off of my spoon because we want all those good pieces of bread dough. Scrape down the sides. And that's it. So that's step one. So we mix our dough, and then either you can cover this with cling wrap or a kitchen towel, clean kitchen towel, which is what I usually do. And you set it in a draft-free, warm spot. So away from a window, basically, right now in winter. And then we're gonna just leave it for a couple of hours. So this bread dough is very easy for beginners because you can't really mess it up. So you mix all the dry and the wet ingredients, set it aside, and then I'll check back with you and show you the next step. Hi, so I'm back and it has been 3 hours for the bread to rise, and it's nice and bubbly, and if you put your hand on the side, it's slightly warm to the touch. So I have my 2 loaf pans and I've sprayed them. Make sure you spray them. I've forgotten before and it sticks horribly. So make sure you spray your pans. And 3, 4, or 5 hours this can sit. So as long as you want to wait, you can test out different lengths. It depends on the humidity in your home as well. So then I just pour some into each one. I try to make them even. And you'll don't want them to overflow because they'll rise more in the pan before we bake. So I pour the batter in, scrape out the sides of the bowl, and I usually leave mine uncovered, but if you've used plastic wrap, you can use that and recover these. And shake them to even things out a little. And then you're going to let them rise for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes I like to set them right on top of the oven as it warms up. And you're going to want to preheat the oven about 30 minutes before you put them in. So if you want to just let them rise for that 30 minutes while your oven warms and preheats and gets nice and toasty, that's a nice, easy way to do it. So you're going to want to let them rise in the pan, and then you'll bake them at 450 degrees for 35 minutes. I will show you the finished product in about an hour.